Welcome everybody. Today's lesson is going to be this T-bone. This motorcyclist is going to go over the hood and we're going to talk about the certain clues that we can utilize to prevent this type of accident on top of the skills that we need to understand for the situation. Alright, so first and foremost we have this setting. This is going to be a very high risk setting. So when we are on a freeway or a highway or just like a rural road where there's nothing really out there, no traffic, obviously no pedestrians, could possibly have some animals, but that is going to be more like a low to medium risk type situation where all we really have to focus on is what's in front of us. We don't really need to focus on, left and right and behind us. But in this situation, the hazard perception should be that 360 cone. You should constantly be doing head checks. And if you're constantly doing head checks and if you're constantly moving your head, not focusing what's up front because you're trying to get everything, that means we need to slow it down. That way we have the most space cushion for every head check. Just think, if you do a head check, that is going to take like a millisecond or like a quarter of a second there. Do another quarter second, do another quarter second, look at the mirror, quarter. So now we start to add up this time that it takes to do a full 360, but we've already traveled quite far. So medium, low risk, you're looking forward already. You don't need to worry too much, and then you can actually decrease or increase your space cushion at will. Here, this is where we need to have the biggest space cushion that we're comfortable with just because of all the unpredictable hazards in a downtown style area, okay? So very high congestion, slow it down, constantly be looking. So already when I look at this, I'm worried that somebody's gonna walk in between these two vans. I'm worried that somebody's gonna walk after this van. I'm worried that somebody else is going to go into this van. All these different things, all these different problems that I'm really worried about. I'm not too concerned about the vehicles themselves, but I'm also keeping an eye on everything. I'm constantly moving around, having my eyesight track anything that pops out. And that's the biggest thing, is that anything that pops out is what you need to really focus on, and then jump away if it's not a real hazard. So we're gonna move forward right here, and immediately what I see is this vehicle wanting to turn around. Now obviously vehicles aren't gonna be able to turn as sharp as a motorcycle, so we can't assume that they're gonna do that. We can't assume he's gonna do a full U-turn or even a left-handed turn for him in his lane. It's not gonna be possible, okay? It's barely possible for motorcyclists. So when we see this, we need to assume that he's gonna be in our path of travel. So if that's gonna be the case, we need to start slowing down. Apply the brakes, stop, slow down, whatever it is. I don't care if this person right here is causing a problem and he's not legally supposed to do it. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, I don't want to go ahead and T-bone into that person, cause some severe injuries, which we're going to go ahead and talk about some possible injuries. So right here, this is going to be the hazard moment. So if we've already been slowing down because we're trying to do the 360, then we are already ready for this vehicle, so we can go ahead and slow down even more by applying the brakes and downshifting for engine braking. So we're gonna move up to this part, and it's definitely obvious that he's going to be in our path of travel. Whether he's gonna stop right here or not, I don't care. I'm gonna assume he's gonna keep going. So we're gonna go up to this point, and right here, this is gonna be the accident. Now this lady's watching, hopefully he's gonna call 911, but this is gonna be the accident. So this is gonna be a frontal impact. And one injury that a lot of people don't talk about with frontal impacts like this is that when you're sitting down, you're gonna start sliding forward, right? You're sliding forward, your hands slide forward, your body slides forward. Well, you have your genitalia right there, okay, demonetized, whatever. But you have your genitalia right there, so what's gonna happen is you're gonna crush it. Whether you're male or female, you're gonna crush it on that gas tank because you're sliding forward. It's really, really predominant in cruisers because the seats are low, the gas tank's a little bit higher, but you can still get it on a sport bike. So you're gonna crush that portion, and then you're gonna also have some type of bone issue. So right in the front, you have your pubic bone, and then you have your pelvis. So you have your iliac crest. It kind of looks like this. So here's your hips right here and your pubic bones right here. What can happen is you can have a traumatic separation of your pelvis, which is going to go like that. Now this is typically what happens when females are pregnant and they get this elastin in their hormones, and it's actually going to make it so that their pelvis and joints can actually move around. So if you're a woman and you've been pregnant, you kind of understand that you're actually not supposed to work out towards the end of your third trimester because your ligaments are just so loose. So that's a medical and a natural separation when you're pregnant, but when you are in an accident like this and it separates, it's traumatic. And that is very dangerous. You can easily lacerate the artery, the femoral artery that goes through your hip or your pelvis. You can really damage the genitalia. So if you're a male, you could pretty much just have ED the rest of your life. Females, it could be just really torn up, very badly damaged because pubic bone could really get smashed. Also, your bladder can be lacerated. We're gonna start having all these different issues, but nobody talks about that kind of stuff. So be aware of that. There's no real protection for that, so frontal impacts are pretty bad. The only protection that I believe that is even around there are the new Gold Wings. They actually have airbags out of the gas tank. So another thing that you can get is skier's thumb. So you're holding on to the handlebars, right? You're holding on, you're riding, and then you go forward. Well, your hands and arms are going to go forward. So what's going to happen is your thumb's going to be wrapped around the throttle and the left side, the left hand grip. And what's going to happen is you're going to go forward, and your thumb's going to get caught, and you can possibly break your thumb or break the ligaments in the thumb. It's called skier's thumb, but it could easily happen to motorcyclists. So that's right here. Those are the injuries right there that's going to possibly happen on top of all the impacts to the knees, arms, and all that stuff. So we're going to move forward just a little bit. So there's a full flip. So you could easily hit your head too. So make sure you wear your helmet. So he's going to go ahead and fall down. And thankfully, a lot of the impacts were going to be that initial impact. He's not going to go sliding and then have some issues. There's actually going to be zero road rash issue here because it was just an impact and he rolled over. It didn't slide anywhere. So most of this is going to be that impact resistance that we need. So this is why I keep telling you guys to have proper motorcycle gear with the armor inserts in them. If you have hip armor, you know, on the sides, if you have any type of back armor, shoulder armor, all these different things, make sure you actually get the armor for it, not just the PE foam. I bet you if you check your motorcycle jacket right now and it came with some type of back armor, it's going to be that pretty flimsy foam stuff that you can like lay on and be comfortable. That is not CE rated, that is PE rated. It's a different type. Get yourself some back armor. So what's going to happen here is he's going to go ahead and walk around. He's going to stand up. He's going to be upset. I understand that. Adrenaline's rushing. Go ahead and get it out real quick, but let's not do anything permanent by kicking a windshield, breaking anything like that. Everything's broken. That's it. Done. Leave insurance for that. Make sure you're okay. Make sure they're okay. And then get insurance, get the cops on scene, only because they will do a full report. They will figure out who's at fault or try to, and then let your insurance companies battle it out. So make sure you get the proper motorcycle insurance for this situation. Comprehensive is a very good one. That way it's going to help out with a lot of different things. Also make sure you have proper medical insurance on the side too, because you never know how bad of an injury this is going to be. So, and this is another thing, is that if you're not wearing full proper gear, at least have something for impact resistance. This is going to be a knee and shin armor. Make sure it's CE rated for motorcycling, not bicycling. There's a bunch of stuff out there that say CE rated, but make sure you get the appropriate numeral numbers out there. I believe it's 1621, so you want to check that out. I'll have it pop on the screen. But he's wearing just regular jeans. Now that's not going to hold up in a crash when it comes to the abrasion resistance. So, you know, be aware of that. But yeah, that's typically what's going to happen in a motorcycle accident. I'm just going to walk you through it. Make sure you guys wear your gear. Make sure you guys can see everything ahead of time. And then if it's in a congested area, the best thing you could do is slow down. So that way you have time to observe any type of hazards. Remember, the hazards that are going to pop out and get you are the ones that are going to pop out. So if there's anything that's just moving in your peripheral vision, take a quick look. If it's a hazard, do something. If it's not a hazard, get back to looking forward. Make sure you do that. Constantly practice that. Okay, guys? Think of an orange in your hand. Go ahead and grab an orange if you have one, whatever. I want you to grab it and squeeze slowly to get that juice out. You don't just yank it and smash it, right? Same thing with the brakes. Pull it in slowly. Squeeze it slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4.